What up, what up? This is Tony, aka Seyi, coming at you with 9-Star Niger. I appreciate you coming back to my channel again. So you must like the content, so I'm gonna try to continue to be consistent with how I post and just the message that I bring out. So I'm sure y'all looking at the title saying Buhari and the coronavirus. We all are aware of what's going on across the world, and just this pandemic that started in China, and how it's just decimating so many of our so many countries, and just the people suffering, and just fear, a lot of fear that's going on. Economies are shutting down, so there you got poverty, joblessness that is going to be coming up in the upcoming months if things don't change. And it's really seems like it's really difficult to pinpoint how to stop it. But as we're all watching the news reports and media, Nigeria is one of them, and it's unfortunate that Nigeria is in a position where not the best practices are being implemented for the whole group of people that are there. I'm sure the rich people and the politicians have their own private doctors and nurses, but for the majority of people, they're just fending for themselves. I mean, I'm not there on the ground, so I can only speculate what's going on. I see the social media videos and things that people are posting. I know the Nigerian government has been lying about what kind of treatment they're doing, the excuses that they give. It seems like, to me, it just seems like Nigeria just copies what everyone else does, and they don't even think about what they're saying. I think they're incapable of being honest about negative news. They make it seem like everything is always on the up and up, and it's like, how can you lie? We're there watching everything. You got social media, you got people posting, you got people saying, okay, there's no testing kits, or they'll call the hotline and they'll turn people away, and it's just like, yo, why do you keep lying? We don't believe you. Well, some fools believe them, and I call them fools because, I mean, if you've seen all that you've seen with this government, to still think that they're being truthful is beyond me. You seriously need some help. But the reason why I brought up Buhari, I think this dude might possibly have some that coronavirus. Given his age, given how vulnerable he is, he already has health conditions. But I was just reading about one of his right-hand man or whatever that is the link to getting to Buhari, and he came down with corona. So I'm just going to read this article. This is coming from, where's this article? The National Post. And it's saying the Nigerian president's influential chief of staff has tested positive for coronavirus. Source said Abba Kyari, who is in his 70s, is an important figure to President Buhari's government, and his illness could have ramifications for the running of the country. I don't know about this guy. I don't know who specifically he is. I didn't research him. I'm just looking at the report, but it doesn't really make me feel good knowing that one person getting sick can alter the course of a whole country. That should never be the case. When you're running a country, you're supposed to have a team in place, and have checks and balances, get your systems, your structures for, when you have events like this. Why is it predicated, to one person that's going to make or break the economy? Now, it could just be the wording that they're using, but something like that just, it really makes me feel uncomfortable. His case was one of the growing number in Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation. Previously, most cases were travelers who had recently returned from the United Kingdom or the United States. Kari has a history of medical complications, including diabetes and Many who wish to deal with Buhari must go through Kari, including Nigeria's top politicians and business owners. So because he is the right hand man to Buhari, I'm sure he's been in contact with Buhari. You know, I mean, you see where I'm going with it. So I think I've seen a story where there was like, yeah, Buhari was tested and he was negative, and I'm just like, well, why would he tell the truth? Like, honestly, why? Well, you know, if he's sick, well, they didn't even tell us when he was sick the first time. They just said he went for something and that was it, and he was gone for like 5 months when he first got into presidency. So for them to say now, yeah, he doesn't have any coronavirus, I'm just like, all right, well, I don't believe you. I need to, I'm just not buying it. Another thing that, so that's, of course, that's the obvious part that everyone is looking at and everyone is focusing on. What I see this whole situation about a lot of African, not just Nigeria, but a lot of African nation leaders is it's kind of like, I see it as a dose of their own medicine, because when they get sick, a lot of these people run to the UK or they run to Asia, China. They don't stay in their own countries and get treatment from the medical facilities that are in their countries. The obvious reason is because they don't trust the medical systems in their country. When it comes to Nigeria, Buhari is known for always going to the UK. Now, isn't it interesting that the UK's banned is on the Nigeria's ban list, and now there's nowhere for Buhari to go. If he is sick, I'm sure he's sick right now. He's already been sick, but if he has the coronavirus, there's nowhere for him to run to. So now he's having to rely on this medical system that he doesn't want to utilize, or any of his team, or any of these other politicians. They don't want to use the medical system, but it's fine for the regular Nigerians to use it. I see it as a bit of karma, and I'm not trying to make light of this situation for anyone else, but I mean, it's interesting that you're sick, or if you get sick, you have to rely on the medical system that you deem okay for everyone else to use except for yourself. So if the worst if the worst happens to him, imagine what it would have been if you invested all that money that you spent traveling to these hospitals, or even security, or roads for emergency vehicles to go on. Imagine if you would have invested that time, you could have been a different outcome. Now, I'm not saying he's sick, but if your chief of staff is sick and you're always in contact with them, I'm assuming, I don't know if he contacted Buhari when he got back, but if that's the case, they're both in their 70s. Buhari is almost 80. I think he's 77. I mean, yeah, let's be real. You probably got it too. Now, that's just if they've been in contact. So I think it's, it exposes a lot of the BS that regular Nigerians, just the everyday citizens have to go through in this country with lack of funds. So even now, it's even though you're in a position of high authority, there's nowhere for you to go. You have to eat the same bread as everybody else. Now what? Now I bet you're thinking to yourself, damn, we should put a little bit more money or attention to these medical facilities, because if you get sick, I mean, a lot of times it's a wrap, and that's the unfortunate part about Nigeria. The second part I notice, and I think it exposes this group of people, this sect of people that talk a lot of game and con people. And they are part of the, let's just say, the religious group, specifically Christians and Christianity. Now, I'm not gonna paint all Christians in the same light. I mean, I have my own differences about it, but I'm not even trying to get to that part. I just want to kind of paint the obvious of when these pastors say that they can throw all these miracles and do miracles left and right and like it's nothing, and then you see a situation like this, and then they themselves running for alcohol, hand sanitizer. A couple of them was trying to have church services, but it's like, all right, if you're really feeling strong, and I mean, I'm just trying to be logical about it. Go into the den of where this coronavirus is killing people. Since you're so blessed and you're so, you got the gift of healing, because we seen your videos, and anyone has just had to come and you just touch them or whatever. We seen the videos. If the videos are legit, why not take that same energy and turn what's going on around? Because it's affecting everyone globally. So if you got that power, like you try to show you do, why aren't you? What's up? Like, you kind of silent over there. Now, you got some people, some followers that try to defend pastors and say, oh, they're not God, or I mean, just deflection tactics. And I'm a really blunt person, and it's unfortunate to see such naivety in a lot of Nigerians. Now, when it comes to religion, really specifically talking about Christianity, because that's what I'm more aware of, and most of the people I know are Christians, especially in the South. They don't really understand how all this works, and there's just three, maybe two or three words I just want to say to people that think like that, and think that pastors are still miracle givers, and they're doing according to scripture and God. First is discernment. The Bible, the scriptures talk about this. They talk about having discernment. The next part that people seem to forget is talk about wisdom. So the scriptures talks about wisdom all the way through Solomon. You already know. I'm sure you know his story or whatever. Judge a tree by its fruit. That's a term that I'm sure people know. You see what someone is by the roots and what they produce. That's how you can tell if it's a good tree or not. And then the other part is laziness. And I say these four terms because a lot of what I see when it comes to these religious groups and religious followers, specifically in Christianity, and Islam is there too. I've seen a couple of them, but not as much as the videos I see of Christianity, is that they really lack the understanding of what spirituality is. What it means to I don't know how to say it. Maybe not to just thinking carnally, the carnal mind. They don't really understand. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of them just don't read scripture. They just follow what the pastor does and say. And I think this is a moment where it exposes a lot of the frauds and a lot of the people that just bullshit and take poor people's money. A couple of people have called out the Christian church on how they hoard so much money, and I'm talking about specifically in Nigeria, and I've seen these churches myself. They hoard so much money, and they are traveling lavishly, they're doing whatever they want to do, and they don't seem to reciprocate that type of wealth to the people that are coming to their congregation. And sorry, I got Got my phone on. So discernment. You need to understand. You gotta look at the whole picture. And just because someone is telling you they're a pastor and they're or I go to church or whatever, doesn't mean that they're a good person. You gotta judge a tree by its fruit. You gotta understand the implications of what they're doing. What service and what value are they giving to people? Tangibles. I don't mean just lip service. I mean just tangibles. Focus on that stuff, and you can see who's real and who's not. Use wisdom. There's a lot of pastors that I've been seeing in Nigeria, and I think I saw one in the US, but a lot of these pastors in Nigeria saying we're gonna pray the way they saying all these prayers or whatever. There's someone recording them all the time. Tell them, if they're so bold and whatever, tell them to go to the area where they can really bless people. That's all I'm saying. If they got that power, tell them to go to the areas where people are sick and let them come with no PPE, no personal protective equipment or anything, and talk to the people. Go pray over them. If they're that powerful. I don't like when someone intentionally puts other people in harm's way because of lack of understanding and foolishness. I mean, that's basically what it is. Because and we already know Nigeria is overcrowded. It can spread like wildfire, the virus, and can hurt a lot of people and possibly kill. Now is not the time to play fast and loose with what's going on. We're still trying to figure out how to stop it. We're still trying to figure out how to making sure that it's not fatal to the people that come in contact with it. We ain't playing around here. Saying repeated prayers all the time, especially when you don't understand the origins of what you believe in, it's not going to help anyone. It's actually going to harm people. If you want to help, use wisdom to protect yourself and your family, your children. Use discernment to see who's real or who's not. You judge a person by his fruit. You're looking for tangibles, not lip service. And you don't want someone that is lazy. So a lot of these pastors or religious figures, they talk a good game and then they don't do anything tangible. They want you to do the work. Focus on that. And this is how you can make sure that you come up on top. So just a few, these are the thoughts that was in my head. I'm probably gonna maybe make some videos later on about just developments and what we should be focusing on, and what we should be thinking about our future, how we can protect ourselves, how we should move those in the diaspora. This is a time where they're shutting down a lot of jobs. A lot of people are already being laid off. This is this perfect time to be looking at other streams of income. Get your multiple streams of income up. Can't just rely on that one job. This is the time to do it. This is the time to build. This is where I create this platform so we can start sharing information, start building and start looking for ways where we can sustain ourselves even if the outside world is having issues. So now's not the time to play and just chill and just relax at home because you're off of work. No, this is the time you need to think of some strategies so that you don't get caught up in this mess. That's all I got for y'all. I'll holler at y'all next time.